All right. Well, before we begin, make sure that you sign into your Seesaw teacher account, okay? So that you're able to follow along with me, kind of explore as we'll have some time to explore today. You will have a sign in with Clever for your district. So you'll sign into your Clever portal and you can click Seesaw. Okay, well, anyone have any trouble signing into Seesaw? You all have your Seesaw account in another window or another tab on your computer so that we can get started when there is time to explore. Please let me know if you have any questions and maybe we can troubleshoot for you. Well, let's get started. Today's session is Seesaw 101, The Essentials. This training is designed to get you up and running on Seesaw so that you can create engaging learning experiences that really make thinking and learning visible for you and your students. So to get started, make sure that you have navigated, you know where the chat is. So if there's any questions or times where you can engage, feel free, head over to the chat, put your ideas in, put your questions in. This is also a Zoom meeting. So if you would like to unmute at any point, you can raise your hand, unmute, ask your question. I'd love for this to be interactive, and I don't want to be the only one doing the talking, so feel free to chime in. I know some of you have experience with Seesaw already, and we'd love to hear your questions or your successes and celebrations that you've already had with your students so far. This session is going to be recorded, so you will get an email. I will send an email to your district lead in about 24 hours or sooner with all of the information, with the link to the video recording, as well as the slide deck and any relevant notes or resources that you can use. Yeah, my name is Caitlin Arakawa. I am a Seesaw certified educator, as well as a current third grade teacher. I taught kindergarten for 6 years, and this is my third year in third grade. So I'm excited to be sharing Seesaw with y'all, and let's get started. So we're always asked, why Seesaw? Let's take a look at a post a student added to their journal just to get an idea. This kindergarten class was learning about fairy tales. The teacher read The Three Little Pigs to the class, and then the students cut and sequenced pictures to tell the story. Students then hopped into Seesaw and captured their sequence work with the photo tool. And finally, students used the microphone tool to retell the story. Let's take a listen.
First, what happened is they left their mom and gave them a kiss. Then the wolf came to the brick house and rolled the second brick house down. Then the two other little pigs ran into the house, and there's no straw. It's just this. Then the wolf got
super cute. It's very hands-on. They're sequencing, they're retelling it with their words and their own words while circling it to keep track. Something that's very accessible to an accessible way for a kindergartner to show what they know, retell the story. I love starting with this type of example because I think it's important to start with the why, right? Why Seesaw? Why are we using this tool? Why is it so powerful? And what better way to show an actual student example? This example is from a third grade class that was working on data and graphs. The students created graphs with drawing supplies and based on data provided by the teacher. Students were then instructed to hop into Seesaw, capture their graph with the photo tool, and students used the microphone tool to record themselves explaining their graph. So very similar, but just a different concept, leveled up for third grade.
Broccoli and carrots are tied for the vote, and potatoes have 4 votes.
Analyzing the graph. Super quick, easy explanation, just to kind of get a glimpse into what the student is understanding.
Broccoli.
So let's think about technology and teaching and learning and how Seesaw fits into all of this. How does Seesaw transform these two lessons from a standard lesson on interpreting data or sequencing story events? How does it sort of transform these lessons? How does Seesaw transform the two lessons that we just saw? Feel free to unmute or put it in the chat.
Well, I really like that you can see the students' thought process without having to individually pull each student. They can record themselves and, you can watch it at a later time. And it gives them more than one way to explain, right, their answer.
I love that. I always say that having Seesaw is sort of like being in all places at one time, which is a superpower every teacher wished they had. We get a glimpse into their thought process. They're capturing their ideas in a journal, and you can take a look at it later. Tina says it can be used for accountability. You can really hear, thanks Liz, how students are thinking. It's hands-on. The students are using, they use language to explain, read, or share. Yes, Sue. Anyone else would like to unmute? I'll give you a second. Meanwhile, I'm reading some great things in the chat. Yes. Leticia, I love that. Everybody's able to respond to the prompt, but individually, right? Sometimes when you call on students, the same students are always raising their hand, right, to share or respond. And some students just are a little bit more shy and don't want to share in front of the whole class. But when they are, behind their computer or their iPad, there's a little bit more of a safety net when it's just them and the device. They can share their ideas too and have that that ability to share without the pressure of everybody looking at them. Yes. Liz hit on a good point. You can hear everyone, which you might not be able to do efficiently without technology. I always think about Seesaw as being transformative learning experience, where you can do things that you couldn't previously do without technology. Yes, awesome. I love all your answers. You guys are great. Thank you so much. So, what's Seesaw all about? Seesaw brings together high quality instruction, actionable learning insights, and student support through family engagement all in one place. With Seesaw, teachers have the tools they need to meet students where they are and have visibility into every student's understanding, like many of us have already talked about. Students have the tools they need to deeply engage in the learning, have and share their voice, as well as choice while engaging with activities in Seesaw. Families have the tools that they need to support their child to their full potential. Seesaw allows you to bring instruction to life through engaging and multidimensional learning experiences, that those high quality, standard aligned instructional content that makes personalized learning a part of every student experience while empowering them with voice and choice. Seesaw's multimodal tools allow students to capture their hands-on learning in ways that work best for them. Tools like the video, voice, and microphone support reflection, making student thinking and learning visible. Since the learning lives in Seesaw, students are able to see growth over time as like a portfolio, which can be very powerful to share with families. So family engagement, connecting families to their child's journal gives them that window into learning, supports and engages them as partners through this positive two-way communication that's all centered around learning, all while leveraging powerful multimodal tools built for elementary learners. So today's goal or objective is to learn how to engage students in interactive learning experiences in Seesaw, centered around student agency and creation, encouraging voice and choice. Here are our learning outcomes for today. We've got 3. First, we're going to see how you as the teacher can document learning in student portfolios. Next, we'll see how to use our present to class feature during whole class instruction to support engaging learning experiences. And then finally, we will learn how students capture their own learning in Seesaw portfolios, promoting student voice, choice, and reflection. So we'll start with documenting learning in student portfolios. As a teacher, you can easily document learning and moments from throughout the year in the Seesaw Journal. It is a digital portfolio that creates a space for you to show student growth over time. As the teacher, you can use the class journal in a couple ways. One way is to capture everyday classroom moments, learning and daily activities. This gives connected family members kind of like a glimpse into your classroom, so they can see what their student is learning or beginning to learn, and you can start to engage families in that learning process. You can also post exemplar student work or resources that you have that you want your students to have access to. For example, this is a CVC instructional video. Since this video is posted to the class journal, all students are able to easily access this video. All they have to do is push play.
We have been learning all about CVC words. CVC words are words that have a consonant at the beginning, a vowel in the middle, and a consonant at the end. Today, you're going to be making your own CVC words. The first thing you're going to do is choose a picture card.
So this teacher is sort of doing like a lesson that they might do in the classroom, right? But having this captured and posted in the Seesaw Learning Journal makes it accessible for any student, anytime, as many times as they need it. So instead of you spending your time repeating yourself or reteaching the lesson, you can direct students to the Seesaw Journal. And families can also have access to this journal so that they are able to support their learner at home. All you do is all you need to do to post to the journal is tap the green add button, then click add to student journal. You can post on behalf of students, resources like that video we just saw, photos, videos, PDFs. When you post in this way, students can comment on a post if you have comments enabled in your settings, but they can't reply to a post with their own post. So they can comment, type a comment, record an audio comment, but they're not able to use those other Seesaw multimodal tools to reply. After you click on that green add button and you've clicked add to student journal, you'll have access to all of Seesaw's creative tools to create your post. As a teacher, we have kind of 3 teacher tested suggestions for using the green add button, either posting resources you want students and families to use, such as anchor charts or demo videos. You can capture learning and activities happening in your classroom to provide families a window into your classroom, or post that exemplar work and a caption telling why it's exemplar for students to reference while they're working. So I'm going to hop into my Seesaw account and show you how you can create a welcome post and post it to all student journals. It'll sort of look like that. So I'm going to click on the green add button and I'll show you a couple of ways that we can do this. I love having sort of a welcome post in the journal before students log in so that they're excited. They kind of get a glimpse into what Seesaw is all about and all of the different tools. It's great for back to school. It's a great way to welcome families. So I'm going to demo that for you right now. I'm going to head over to my Seesaw account. So this is just a demo account right here. I'm going to click the green add button and feel free to follow along or watch and take notes, and you can poke around later, whatever works for you. I'm going to go to the green add button, click add to student journal. And here's where all of those creative tools live. I'm going to go to drawing just so I can have a blank canvas to work with. And I'm going to click on camera, post a picture of me. Oh, it's because I can't because I'm in Zoom. This computer doesn't allow me to take a picture while being on Zoom, but my other computer does. So we're just gonna pretend like there's a picture right here. Maybe I'll put a shape instead. So here's my picture right in the middle, a big blue blob. But maybe this is my frame for my picture, and I wanted to make a nice little frame for my selfie picture. I can use the text box. Welcome to kindergarten. Can change the size using those dots. I can also click the 3 dots right here and change the style of my font. Maybe I want it more colored in or just the words. I'm going to go with colored in, and let's pick another fun color, pink. You can use the text box to say, my name is Miss Arakawa. Here are 3 facts about me or about your teacher. Again, I can resize this to make it smaller, just like this. And maybe I'll use some shapes. Put a star. There we go. I'll put a star and put fact number 1. Fact number 1. This is my 9th year teaching. So fun little ways to sort of welcome your students, engage families. I'm going to change the style of this one to look more like that. For the little learners, they're not going to be able to read this. So my favorite thing to do is have the text there, but then use those 3 dots right here. And now I can record my voice. Fact number 1, this is my 9th year teaching. Now, when students navigate to the journal or they see this post, they'll see this audio right next to the text and they can play and listen to it. Fact number 1, this is my 9th year teaching. It's a great way to make this accessible to everyone. And have even your littlest learners engage with what you post here. So I would probably put audio links to all of these. My students always love to use the glow pen, decorate the sides of it, maybe even use, that was not good, but maybe even use some shapes to create a picture, change the background. A lot of teachers never see these math tools down here, and those can be life-changing. So I want to point that out while I can. I can change the background here to any color or pattern. So fun things like that to create your welcome post. When you're if you're not ready to post, you can click draft. If you are ready to post, you can click the green check mark. I'm going to click all students in Seesaw so that it is posted for every student in their journal. And I'm going to click the check mark. I can add this to a folder or I don't have to. And now when I click check mark, it is going to post to my Seesaw journal right under the pinned post. Right now, this is pinned. I can unpin this. Oops. I can, whoops. I can click unpin so that it is not at the top. And then I will have, this post right here in every student's journal. So if I go to Colleen's going to have this as her first post in her journal. Same with Allie. If I want this post pinned to the top, all I need to do is click the 3 dots and click pin to the top. And now this will appear at the top of everyone's Seesaw Learning Journal. My lights in my classroom are motion censored, so 1 second. I got to tell my lights that I'm still here. All right, so here's an example of a teacher who made their welcome post. There's a video in the middle right here, and you can see the audio little tidbits all around here. Did anyone get a chance to explore a little bit? I'll give you a few minutes to create your own welcome post, or even just post any sort of resource for your students. You don't have to post it now, but if you wanted to start creating, poke around and then click draft, go for it. I'll give you a couple minutes, and I have a little couple reminders for you up on the screen of how to navigate, clicking the add button. Tina's saying, do we have to add the parents separately? So when your students log into Seesaw, you can invite their families to view their journal. So there are several different ways you can invite your families. At the bottom of your Seesaw screen, you'll see add families right here. And here's where you can add your families either by phone number or email. What I like to do is print invites. And this is just, you can have the invite in any language. Well, not any language, but a ton of languages. And then you can click print invites. And this is really helpful just to send home with students on the first day of school or back to school night. And I always give the kids an incentive to do it. So whoever has their parent log in tonight, connect to their Seesaw Learning Journal, gets a Jolly Rancher. The power of the Jolly Rancher. I'll give you a couple more minutes to poke around and leave these notes on the screen for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to unmute or even share how you have posted things to the Seesaw Journal that's worked in your classroom. I love posting my day-to-day activities, sometimes those hands-on science experiments, or even when we go on a field trip, taking pictures, posting it on the journal so that parents can kind of see what's going on during the day. Yes, Hilda, this is huge. You can post resources like anchor charts by subject folder. Can you post a resource such as anchor charts by subject folder? So what you could do, let's go back here, is you could post your resource by clicking the green add button, clicking add to student journal. Maybe you want to upload a PDF, or maybe you want to just embed a video right here. I'm just going to click drawing because I have nothing to upload right now, but I could also upload a video right here as well, or I could post a link. But let's say I posted my resource here. Okay, I can click the check mark. I can click all students. I'll click check again, and then I can put it into any folder. Okay, so if I have a folder titled math notes or math anchor charts, I can tag it in this folder right here. I'll click the check mark. Now, when Carl goes to his folders, he can go down to math anchor charts and see all of his math anchor charts. Is that helpful, Hilda? An easy way to sort of organize those resources by subject by using folders. And then a student can access their folder by right next to their name. They can click the folder icon and go straight to all of their items within that folder. Yes, awesome, cool. All right, let's keep going. So after you've posted with the green add button, you're ready to explore more in Seesaw. Every lesson you teach begins with the whole class instruction. So we're going to learn how you can use activities from the Seesaw library to support your whole class instruction. There's a new, sort of new, I guess in the past year, a present to class feature. So we know that the Seesaw library contains so many standard aligned, high quality instruction that supports students' voice and choice through critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and really just ensuring that all students are supported in meeting their individual learning needs. The instructional content is ready for you. All you need to do is click and teach, and let's learn how. So to get to your Seesaw library, you'll either tap on the green add button and then tap on assign activity, or you can go right up to the top and go to the library button. You will be taken to the resource library. There are 4 libraries in the resource library. My library is where you will find Seesaw activities you have either saved or you've created. It is unique to you. This school or district library is where you will find activities created by your school, district, or fellow teachers that they have shared. And the community library is where you'll find activities created by Seesaw, educators and teachers from the community of ambassadors and certified educators. And the Seesaw library is then full of ready to assign, research-based, standard aligned lessons that build foundational skills that students need most. To get started using Seesaw activities, we'll start by using them for whole group instruction. And we're going to go scroll down and tap on Seesaw Essentials tile. Again, you can follow along if you'd like to, or just watch me. Once you've hit on that Seesaw Essentials tile, you'll find a collection of activities that helps you and your students practice foundational Seesaw skills. So let's tap on View All Lessons to explore this collection. A sample of Seesaw, which is full of activities that are ready to be presented to class during whole group instruction. In a sample of Seesaw, you'll find a variety of lessons ready for you to present to class and just push play. There are community builders, collaborative protocols, podcasts, videos, books, and songs. The lessons you see will be set to your grade level. You can easily change grade levels or select all to view all lessons available in these collections. So just because you are a kindergarten teacher doesn't mean you should stay in that kindergarten lane. Definitely check out pre-K, first grade. You can always adapt it if you need to, but there's a bunch of goodies everywhere. So feel free to explore. Then let's tap on Just Press Play, Guess Who, to explore this lesson further. And then here is the community builder game, Guess Who, which helps students get to know each other and build classroom community and connectivity. This is an activity you would already be doing with your class to create or continue to build community throughout the year. Now, all you have to do is tap Present to Class and press play. So let's watch a video. I love these community builders because it shows a visual for students to understand how to participate.
We are going to show you how to play Guess Who. This is a fun way to get to know your classmates' voices and practice your listening skills. Everyone who is playing should sit in a circle. Let's pretend we're sitting in a circle with our entire class. The teacher will point to one student and choose who's it. The person who's it will move to the middle and cover their eyes, like this. The teacher will point to one student in the middle. That student will say, "Guess who I am," like this. "Guess who I am." The person in the middle will then get 3 chances to guess who it is. Is it Millie? No.
So it's an easy team building game, and you don't have to stand in front of the class anymore and explain the directions, and someone's like, "I don't get it," and then you have to restart again, and you're like, this person's standing in the middle and these people are sitting, and It's easier when there's real students in a real video explaining the real game that they're playing. So we also want our students to see themselves in their content, in our content. So you'll notice that our videos purposefully include diverse students and families, because we know that students connect so much better to content when directions come from real kids, right? Page 2 of each lesson includes discussion questions to help students understand the fun and importance of playing the game. So just show the video to model the activity, and then engage your class in a discussion before completing it as a whole class. So let's get ready to explore. I'm going to hop into my Seesaw account and walk through how to find the Seesaw activities that are ready for you to just push play. So I'm going to go use my library button. Let me go back over here. I'm going to click the library button on the top of my screen. I'm going to go to pre-K, TK. Actually, I'll go to kindergarten. And I'm going to scroll down to Seesaw Essentials. And I'm going to go to a sample of Seesaw. And I'm going to view 20 lessons. So here are there's 20 of them right here. So it's broken down into community builders, collaborative protocols, songs, books. Let's scroll up here and take a look at, oh, I love this. Okay, turn and talk. Students will learn how to participate in turn and talk and discussion and discuss the strategy as a class. So this is something I do with my class every year. We watch this video because I want my students to engage in turn and talk activities or talk with your table partner activities, but that's definitely a routine that needs to be built at the beginning of the year. So let's click present to class. Maria, great question. I'm going to show you that in just a second.
We will show you how to turn and talk. This is the way of talking to your partner in class.
Your teacher will have you sit next to your partner, and then he or she will tell you who's partner A and who's partner B.
Your teacher will give you a question or a topic to talk about with your partner. Let's pretend our teacher gave us the topic of what the season of the year it is and how we know.
Then your teacher will tell you who goes first. Let's suppose partner A is selected to go.
So you can get the idea of this type of like protocol or classroom routine that you already do in your classroom, but now it's ready for you to present to class, to show, to give students that visual. Let's take a look at, so we watched the Guess Who one. Let's take a look at blobs and lines real quick. I can go ahead and click present to class. So you can have the directions here.
Form a group to show information about your class before the timer runs out.
There's also instructions in Spanish.
Fórmate un grupo para mostrar información sobre tu clase antes de que se acabe el tiempo.
Okay. Maybe
line up in a particular order to show information about your class before the timer runs out.
So you've got the timer. Then here are those discussion questions that we talked about, right? So why is it important to learn about your classmates? What are some things that we have in common? And this helps you as a teacher have something ready to go to show your students, but also those discussion questions right there. You don't have to think about anything on the fly. Yeah, so some pretty cool community builders here. And then Maria, you're looking for some activities in Spanish. So I'm going to go to my lesson library and I can, let's see here. Nope, that's a curriculum alignment. There are lessons in Spanish right here. So if I scroll down, I have all these grade levels. This is kind of like teaching students how to use the Seesaw tools. Lots of different activities here that can be used as a routine in your class to practice certain skills like calendar, the alphabet. Yeah, so many different lessons all here in Spanish, and you can search by grade level. So it's pretty cool. I love it. All right. So just to kind of review the present to class, make sure you tap on that library button, tap on the essential tile, the Seesaw Essentials tile. You can view all of those lessons, and then you can click present to class when you're ready to use it with your students. So let's talk for just a second. And I want to hear if you had time to kind of poke around or explore. And if you saw any lessons or collections of lessons that maybe you might want to use with your students. I'll actually give you a couple minutes to take a look in here. So I'll leave these directions up on the screen for you. Once you find something in those collections of lessons that you might want to use with your students, feel free, unmute, share, or maybe there's some that you're already using.
What you shared just gave me the idea of using Q&A, a Q&A page of just simple reading responses.
Yeah.
But then I thought, does this have the tool of speech to text for those that aren't ready to type on their own?
Well, they can just record their voice, or
Okay.
they can take a video.
Oh, okay.
So Seesaw, if I go over here, and you'd be surprised about what types of activities are already made by Seesaw. I feel like there's definitely one that kind of what you're talking about. So definitely take a look in the lessons library here. But yeah, one of Seesaw's creative tools is the video. So I can take a video. I can also just have a blank canvas. I can record right here to record my voice, or again, take a video. So it's accessible for everyone.
So Hilda, if I can add to that, you might consider on that slide, putting your responses or your questions that you're thinking of. And then instead of having students write, use that microphone and have them talk about their responses, but you've got the stems there for them.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great. I was already thinking of typing out the question, and then I like how you said to insert my voice so they can just click on the speaker. So I have technically text to speech. I can read to them, but I like doing the audio back from them. That would be great.
Create that extra scaffold for them. The text is still there, but now they're hearing it and they're being exposed to it in two different ways, and whatever that in a way that best supports their learning.
That's an idea, everyone, that I can add to. You know, we have a student population that sometimes doesn't like to talk, especially in an academic setting. They're more quiet, and Seesaw and using that microphone is a good way to get them privately talking where they don't feel like everyone's looking at them, but getting them really speaking, because that's a need that we have.
I have seen it be so powerful with some of my more quiet, shy students. Sometimes it is the only time I hear them talk, is when it is them and their Chromebook and they're able to share their thinking. And it might be a quiet voice, but it is a voice. And creating that muscle for them now to share their ideas and their thoughts, especially if writing is not engaging for every student to share their ideas. It's not accessible for every student, but being able to record makes it accessible for everybody. And having that safe space of just them and their computer makes it more, makes it a safe zone for them. All right. Well, if you have found any activities or collections in Seesaw that you're like, this is going to be amazing for me, I am so excited to use this in my classroom and everybody should know about it, feel free to stop me or put it in the chat. All right, now we're going to learn how students can use the green add button in Seesaw to document offline student learning and classroom moments to create a digital portfolio in Seesaw Journal. And this might be one of my favorite ways. Similar to how you can use the green add button in Seesaw, students can also use that green add button to capture their learning, add it into Seesaw, all while making their thinking and learning visible for you as the teacher, as well as their connected family members. Students can use the video, camera, microphone, or drawing tools to capture the learning that's taking place in the classroom. Students can do so independently or partner up to record each other. On the left, partners are taking turns recording themselves presenting a weather report. In the middle, students learn about insects and created their own insects out of Play-Doh. After building their insect, students captured a picture on Seesaw and used the label tool to label parts of the insect. The student on the right is taking a video of himself creating with manipulatives. All of the hands-on learning is now live in the Seesaw's journal or digital portfolio, making it easier for teachers and families and students to view their growth throughout the year. And that student in the middle is one of my kindergartners. All right, let's take a closer look at how students can capture their learning, their hands-on learning, with the video tool. This student is explaining pollination using popsicle sticks.
Bees can make pollen by sucking it out of the flower and bring it to another person, and then that makes a seed that makes a flower, or wind can blow from one flower to the other flower, and then the seeds will drop and make another flower. That's pollination.
Voice is so cute.
Bees.
And that's pollination. And you can tell the student gets it, right? There are hands-on models, manipulatives that student is learning and explaining what they know about it, right? Without Seesaw, like we were talking about earlier, we'd never be able to capture that type of understanding. But now you can record those learning experiences, post it into Seesaw, and have that live in their learning journal. So to get started, all students need to do is tap on that green add button, and they will go have access to all of Seesaw's creative tools to create their post. And you may have noticed that students don't see that same menu that teachers have when they click the green add button. Teachers have like assign, assignment, things like that. Students, when they click the green add button, they go straight to the creative tools. This student took a picture in Seesaw of their final writing piece and then used the microphone tool to record their reflection of their writing process. Teachers and students can record up to 5 minutes of reflection using the microphone. When done, students just tap on the green check and add their work to the journal. Now the final writing and the students' thoughts about themselves as a writer are documented in their portfolio for the student, the teacher, and connected family members to view. And as students progress throughout the year and more writing is added to their portfolio, you're easily able to see their growth over time. So when I taught kindergarten, I always had them write with pencil and paper, but take a picture of it in Seesaw, use the microphone tool to read their writing or even just comment about what they wrote. And you can tell their fluency gets better throughout the year, as well as their ideas start to expand. So watching at the end of the year, the work that they posted at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year, it becomes so powerful. and also makes parent conferences go a lot easier. I'm not running around saving work, pulling work from my walls, or keeping file folders full of work to show parents growth over the year. I just go straight to their Seesaw portfolio and say, look, this is what they were able to do at the beginning of the year, and this is what we've captured at the end of the year. And wow, this growth is remarkable. All students' posts and comments must be approved by you, the teacher, before they are added to the class journal. When there is a student post to approve, this bar at the bottom pops up. You just tap review, and you'll be able to approve the post, delete the post, or send the post back for revision. From here, teachers are able to engage in student work by tapping the heart to like the post and tapping the comment or the speech bubble to add either typed or audio feedback. Voice comments are super special for our younger learners and our multilingual learners. By default, students can see each other's work, including posts that you tag students in and comments by you or other students. If you want student work to be private, or you prefer students not to comment on another's work, you can turn these features off in your class settings, and that is the wrench icon in the upper right-hand corner. There are pros and cons to having students view others' work. What might be some of the pros to having students be able to view others' work? Why would you want students to be able to view other students' work? See examples. Yes, Caitlin, you get to see other students' examples. Love that. Maybe they're able to see examples of differing viewpoints or ideas to kind of expand what their own thoughts are on a topic, or maybe they solved or demonstrated a math problem in a different way to kind of expand the different ways of thinking. Yes. Clarissa says, give nice comments. Yes. And that's a skill that needs to be taught at the beginning of the year. I always talk about digital citizenship at the beginning of the year and what makes a productive comment. My students love to just say cool or nice or so pretty at the beginning of the year, but let's be a little bit more meaty. For the little ones, of course, just reinforcing like the nice comments, nothing that is too critical, and they can leave voice comments as well. What are some of the cons to having students see other students' work? What are some of the cons? Some of my students, when I approve assignments, I've in the past, I've seen students go, I haven't done this assignment yet. And so-and-so has done it and it's been approved. I'm going to see what they did and just sort of rework it onto my own assignment. Yeah, Liz, it could be distracting. Creating a culture of an inclusive classroom that is uplifting, where we all challenge each other to be better, is definitely a culture that needs to be created. If it's not there, not solidified, it can be distracting for students for sure. Yeah. So there are definitely pros and cons to having students see each other's work. And it's up to you. You can change it in your class settings, that wrench in the upper right-hand corner. One question many teachers have is, when does it make sense for students to use the green add button to post to the journal? So the green add button allows students to use Seesaw's multimodal tools to respond spontaneously and creatively, capture their learning in the classroom. It makes sense for them to document that offline learning that they want to add to their portfolio to capture their hands-on learning or their reflections. You have probably noticed that there is an assignment feature in Seesaw. Students will then respond to the assignment either with a template, they're responding to a specific activity versus the green add button is sort of that spontaneous capturing that hands-on learning or learning that's happening not in a Seesaw activity. And turn my lights on again. All right, so let's talk now that we've seen how and why teachers post to Seesaw Journal. Take a minute, make a plan. Think about how you will use Seesaw in your classroom to capture students' learning. Will you have students take pictures of all of their writing pieces? Maybe document their hands-on center rotations with manipulatives, using math manipulatives. Maybe they will use the microphone to record their thinking and share what they've learned. So feel free, unmute or share in the chat. How do you want to use Seesaw to capture student learning?
So I love Seesaw. I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I love it because there's so many ways you can do it. Like you were saying, if they're at a center to using manipulatives, like putting their name in order in the beginning of the school year, they can take a picture and send it to us. And we see it's kind of like the accountability that they did the work, because we run like 6 centers and we can't be in 6 places at one time. But I wondered if you had a suggestion or anybody else does. I used to use it and I loved it. And then last year it started to become problematic because our kids are so tech savvy that when they were on Seesaw, they were actually like video recording me or my student teacher, or they were taking selfies. They love to take selfies. And I don't know if anybody has a suggestion, because I loved that they could do something independently, but then it became problematic. And so I'm afraid, I'll have to say that I'm afraid to start using it this year.
And you're not alone, for sure. There are teachers out there that have the same problem. I love going through the iPads in our STEAM lab and seeing all of the selfies on there that other classes have taken. Let's go. I just want to point out something in the Seesaw library. There's digital leadership and safety. And like I said earlier, sort of like creating that culture of Seesaw becomes another routine or another skill that needs to be taught. Just like you teach your students how to line up, or, that we go to the bathroom and we wash our hands, or we raise our hand before we speak. Using Seesaw at a rotation, or using Seesaw's creative tools should be treated the same way, right? We cannot expect our students to use Seesaw in the right ways and be a good digital citizen. So spend ample amount of time at the beginning of the year to set the expectations, be clear with what your expectations are, and treat it just like every other routine in your classroom. But in the Seesaw library, there's digital leadership and safety collection of activities. And they are paired with common sense education, I believe. And so they really do hit on those other CSTA standards and the ISTE standards about like safety on the internet. But Bean goes on the internet. Bean cares for a device. Bean is a digital leader. Let's see, creating a strong password and things like that sort of hit. Bean comments on Seesaw. We talked about creating positive comments. So if we go to kindergarten, the Bean ones are more down your road for that. So having these lessons to implement with your students to kind of create that expectation of digital citizenship, and taking pictures of other people is not nice, especially without permission. And as much as we're in that age now of where students know how to use technology, and they need to be taught how to use technology appropriately. And that often doesn't happen at home, and it's often falls on the teacher to teach, but it's becoming something super important for our students. So definitely check out these lessons here.
Are these available in Spanish?
Let's see here.
I never saw these. I didn't know they were in there. That's really nice.
Yes. So I'm not sure. Let's click on one. Let's go Bean cares for a device. So that's super helpful. I'm going to go to present to class. And I want to see if some of the directions are in, yep, English and Spanish. So you can listen with them. So cute little character. And sometimes I wonder if there's even posters with this, but having that poster in your room, or even having a poster at that center, that Seesaw center, so that they're reminded, they have a visual. Yeah, I might poke around and see if someone has created a digital citizenship Seesaw poster. I'm sure there are some.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Sue says, I like having them make a video of themselves solving a math problem. Yes. We don't have too much time left, but I do want to share one more thing. The draw and record so is super helpful for math, and hopefully Sue, that you have tried this before. If you use that recording tool, that microphone, you can start recording and you can demonstrate math problems and drawing at the same time. So if I drew 4 plus 3 more, all right, we'll say I demonstrated a math problem. Now I have a video of this, of me drawing and talking at the same time, sort of like a screen recording. Microphone, you can start recording and you can demonstrate math problems and drawing at the same time. So if I drew 4, so super great way to have students show what they know with math and record it. All right, so some of us talked about using the photo and video tools. We talked about using the microphone for reflection and voice, and using the pen and label tools to allow students to annotate or draw or add any explanation. Y'all had some great ideas. So that brings us to the end of our session pretty much. You did it. You learned the basic Seesaw tools. You learned how to use present to class to engage students in effective whole class instruction, and how teachers and students can use that green add button to make thinking and learning visible. So your exit ticket today is to just jot down either on a note on your computer or on the side, set a goal for one way you want to transform instruction on Seesaw this year. And we have a ton of resources I'm going to share in the chat for you. If you would like to learn more, we have this whole landing page here, lots of PDFs, short trainings, recorded webinars, and more. And challenge yourself or your connected families to give a window into your classroom to build those positive relationships. Here are some help center articles that will walk you through how to easily connect your families to Seesaw, whether it is a quick start guide or those printed or emailed or text invites.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Okay, this is not related to like an intro thing, but I'm trying to figure out how to use Seesaw for formative assessments. I love the skills tagging.
Yes.
But my thought is, after I tag skills and I'm going to score using the star system, how do I look at the data collectively?
Yes. So I will show you that right now. Let's see. If I go to progress tab right here,
okay,
I can see skills view and activities view. So activities view is going to show me within this date range. So let's make this like date range a little bit more. Since this is a demo account, there are not too many things assigned. So if I make the date range a little bit bigger here, maybe there will be more activities. All right. So here's my date range. Here are all of the activities assigned. I can see who has completed the activity. and who has not, and likely many have not because this is just a demo account, but I can see 0 out of 11 have completed it. I can see 11 out of 11 have completed this right here. So that's activities view. When I go to skills view, I can see things broken down by skill. So for example, demonstrating basic knowledge of letter sound correspondence. I can see that Carl has a 2-star for this, and I can go directly, I can click on it. I can go directly to the activity where he received a 2-star for that skill.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Yes, Leticia, there are so many examples for TK in here. There's a whole section for preschool or TK in the library right here. And a lot of those pictures were from kindergarten students. Yes, so definitely I love to take a look at daily routines. Leticia, if you're still here, yep, I see you. Daily routines are really awesome. Daily check-ins with your students. Make it with shapes, make the number to practice subitizing and counting with one-to-one correspondence. Check for understanding with new vocabulary words or sequencing. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Daily routines is definitely a teacher favorite. And then I want to go to early literacy is another teacher favorite. So fun phonemes and alphabet garden. I'm just going to show you one of the fun phonemes. They have a great present to class introductory lesson about the sound letter sound P with a video and a puppet. And then it has videos to show how to practice, apply, and then connect right here. And then students can finally, at the end of the lesson, show what they know using the camera or the microphone tool. So definitely check out the Seesaw Lesson Library. There are so many things in there.
Another thing to remember, especially with our TK where we're wanting to focus on play, is if they've built something, have them take a picture of it, put that in, not as associated with an activity, but they can add the picture and then hit the microphone and record themselves talking about it. And this is what I built and this is what it was, or maybe a drawing that they take a picture of and then talk about.
So that's where that green add button is super helpful.
Mhm.
They can just click the green add button, take a picture of their pattern blocks of something that they've created or the pattern that they created, or them creating letters out of Play-Doh,
Mhm.
anything that's hands-on tactile that you're already doing in your classroom. Taking that picture in Seesaw has that accountability piece right there. So you can document that learning, share it with parents, parents can see, and you can then have this portfolio throughout the entire year of what they were working on. So when you're working at your center with your 5 students, you can have other centers around the room and they're accountable because they have to document it in Seesaw, taking that picture. So love it. Thank you, Liz.
All right, Caitlin, thank you so much. This is fantastic.
Of course. All right. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, we'll see you. Bye.